Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today. I appreciate it. We are at the Blackstone District. It's an amazing place. So it's a 4-part series over the next 4 weeks exposing the stories of Blackstone. And I've got different people on the show, different guests. And before I introduce you to my next guest, I'd like to thank our sponsor, the OMAHA Gift Company. If you need a gift and are looking to make an impact, the OMAHA Gift Company can take care of all your gifting needs. Use code JAY and get the secret discount. So that's awesome. I want to say thank you again to all those who spent time with us, and especially our next guest. Her and I have been networking for a long, long time and just getting to know each other because sometimes we don't take time to stop. This is Lisa Tonjes Moritz, and she is with Hope, and she is a professional organizer. Tell me what that means. Tell me what a professional organizer means.
Well, that means I help people organize.
Come closer. It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
sorry.
there you go. Yeah. No, you're good. You're good.
It's my first time.
No, don't be shy. It's okay. It won't bite you.
I help people organize. Well, I'll take that back. I used to help people organize their spaces, whether that was in their homes or their businesses.
Yep.
But as of May, I have focused in on I'm only helping people with their photos and memorabilia.
So you've pared down the business and said, you know what, I can't help you do everything. Here's my sweet spot.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm going to
Exactly.
do. So talk about photos and their memorabilia.
Yes.
I can tell you, life is full of space junk right now, where people don't even print, and they should print their photos. Because when I'm 68 years old, do you think I'm going to be thumbing through the internet? Maybe not.
Well, yes.
Maybe, but I'm saying, like, I want things that are tangible, things I can hold in my hand. So let's talk about you as a business owner. How long have you been a business owner, Lisa?
I started my business in 2007.
Perfect. Yep, that's a perfect
sorry.
time right there.
Yeah.
2007.
So 12 years.
What did you do before that?
I was a bank manager.
Oh my gosh, that sounded exciting. You almost cringed when you said that. How long did you do that?
10 years.
So what made you start your own business, right? You didn't say, oh, I'm going to go do this and build buildings. I'm not going to go do this and I'm going to... You said, I'm going to help people organize.
When I was a bank manager, I distinctly remember walking into an Office Depot when I was living in Austin, Texas, and there was a drawing by a professional organizer right inside the door.
Yeah.
And I picked up the brochure and I went, someone does this for a living? Like, this is a real thing?
Like they can get paid?
They can do this?
Yeah.
And in 2006, I just left my banking career because I hated it that much. That's why you saw me cringe.
Yes, yeah.
And while I was looking for something else to do, I thought, well, this is something I could start with a low startup cost.
Right.
I got a website.
Right, it's all sweat equity.
Kind of, some training materials, joined the National Association of Professional Organizers.
There is a such thing?
And in fact, there's also the Association of Professional Photo Organizers.
So there's a niche.
Yes.
So it's a specific function. I'll be honest with you, I've got pictures all over the place. I've got albums from years ago, real albums, right? Pictures that my parents have given me that I better preserve.
Yes. I can help you with that.
So talk about that, right? Why should someone preserve their photos? To you, what's their why?
Mostly it's about saving and sharing those memories so that future generations can enjoy them. And I occasionally run across someone that says, my kids don't care. And I'm like, your grandkids might.
It's true. It's not about you, right?
Right. And I also, when we're doing any kind of project, whether it's scanning those old photos and making them digital or just working with digital collections,
yes.
I always say, okay, before we do this, we're going to kind of think about, I have a 3-year-old. What is he going to, in 20 years, in 50 years, how is he going to want to enjoy these photos?
That's right.
He's not going to want to see 100 pictures of when he turned 3 months old.
Right.
So then that's another thing is delete. It's okay to delete some photos too.
I know. I can't do it. It's so hard. My phone is full. My phone is literally full. So let me ask you this. You are a business owner. You alluded you're in Dallas, Texas. Austin, Texas. And then you moved here. When did you move here to
I
Nebraska?
moved back to Nebraska.
Okay.
I'm originally from Nebraska.
Okay, you're originally from here. Okay.
In 2005.
So that's awesome. So you left.
I left.
Because
and came back.
why did you leave? Because it wasn't awesome?
Well, I grew up in a small town, Bertrand, Nebraska.
Yes.
Went to the University of Nebraska and was like, I gotta get out of Nebraska. This is not the place for me. And as I got older, I realized that I wanted to be closer to family.
Your family. Yep,
my
yep,
family.
yep. Mhm.
Specifically, my sister had recently gotten married, and I knew nieces and nephews were on their way, and I
That's a
wanted to be
big deal.
closer.
I'm not anywhere near my family right
Yeah.
now. My wife's family we are, but I wish I had my 200 family members around. I'm from San Francisco originally. So let me ask you, so you came back. Were you surprised? Or when did you come? 2007, you said? 2005.
Yeah.
So I remember 2005. What was it like compared to now?
Well, I lived in the old market in 2005, thinking I could afford to live in the old market, like downtown. In
Yes.
Austin, I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
People were like, "Oh, people thought living downtown was kind of weird at the time."
Because it was kind of like, oh, it's that segment.
Yeah.
It's downtown. Yeah, I get it.
And there was Upstream and
Yeah.
Billy Frogs. And
Crazy Duck. Do you remember
but
that
there
place?
wasn't-
It was the French Cafe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, French Cafe. Yeah.
But it definitely wasn't what there is now.
Right. There were
Yeah.
no hipsters then either.
Yeah.
It was just kind of just different odds and ends and eclectic and all kinds of people,
Yeah.
right? So then you moved back. Let's talk about 2005 to now, the contrast. Would you have even conceptualized a Blackstone?
No. So we live like 2.5 blocks from here.
And that's why you're on, because I want to
Right.
know why you're in this area and why it attracts you.
And so we live just north of Dodge. I actually walked here tonight.
That's awesome. That's great.
Anytime the weather's okay, we walk to the Blackstone.
Yeah.
Or Midtown Crossing or...
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crescent Moon, any of those.
You like this part of the city. Why? So if I'm living in West Omaha, or at least share with me why I should consider this area. Not that you're trying to convince me, but why should I consider?
We chose to move. We lived here for 8.5 years. So
Okay.
before the Blackstone.
Before it was Blackstone,
before
it was just like
Blackstone.
stone.
But we really wanted to live somewhere that we could walk places.
Yeah.
Walk to a bar, walk to a restaurant, walk to entertainment.
So you weren't car bound.
Right. Not that we don't drive our cars a lot of places, but we
Sure.
want the ability to walk places.
I don't even think about that. That doesn't cross my mind because I do live in West Omaha. And in my mind, I'm like, man, I want to do something, but I've got to jump in the car just to go to the store, just to go to where I need to go. It would be nice and freeing to not have to be with a car. I love this. We're in Stornella patio right now, and all these cars are passing by. But does it force you to be more active and just get out and about?
I think so. I think we're more active in the Omaha community because of where we live, because we can get places quickly. But I have to tell you a funny little story about Blackstone. Shortly after we moved to the neighborhood, we had decided maybe we wanted rental properties because we were renting our old house.
Yes.
And we looked at a place just 2 blocks down.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, that's too much work. I don't know about this neighborhood.
Right? Oh my gosh.
And now it's like across the street from Night Owl. We're like,
Oh, should have done it. Woulda, shoulda, coulda. But that's where we need to pay attention to where development is. And I believe that this place is being developed.
yeah.
People are not relying on corporations to set up small businesses like this. Stornella, Matt Carper, and Butterfish and Red Lion. That's, not an easy venture to open 3 businesses in one area. And he's banking on that this is going to work and going to grow. I've seen it grow. So you're a business owner. Your office is home-based, which is awesome. Talk about this community, how it supports you in your entrepreneurial spirit, or does it help you in a neighborhood like this versus a neighborhood where you're separated from? In West Omaha, we're not separated, but we're just siloed. Does that make sense? We're separate from everybody. Do you feel it helps your business here and it helps it grow because it's a community?
I don't know if I've seen direct links, but
Sure.
it makes me more active. I'm involved and have been involved in different organizations through the years.
Because I see you network all over the place. I do see you in West Omaha too.
I do occasionally.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I have a lot of clients in West Omaha.
Yes, yeah.
I have nothing against it. I just don't always like to drive there.
Yeah, I'd see. It's so crazy, like versus down there, up here. It's 17 to 20 minutes. That's all it really is, right?
Some places it's
Someplace, yeah, right, when you're on the off streets. So if someone says, hey, Blackstone, what's there to do there? Where are some of your go-to places here, and who do you go that you're here with?
Well, it depends on the moment. But
Sure, yeah,
like,
let's talk about situational stuff.
Date night.
Okay.
When we don't have our son.
Yes.
We love Red Lion Lounge.
Yes.
We've been to every restaurant,
You
almost
have.
every restaurant on here.
Okay.
Haven't been to the Indian restaurant, and that's
Yes, yes.
because I have an allergy to some
Sure.
of the spices.
Sure.
But
That's fair.
otherwise, we love to try everything new, and we go to Meatball a lot because our
Yes,
3-year-old loves meatballs
I've
and
heard about
spaghetti.
that place. Like everyone's talking about that place. I hope to get them on here. So, would you say there's a lack of variety here, or there's
No.
not at all, right? But
Something you don't know about me is we also run an Airbnb out of our basement.
talk to me about that.
And
That's
I love
pretty
to
good.
refer our guests to Blackstone.
Okay, well, good. So you run an Airbnb, which is awesome. That's a whole nother show in itself. But how busy does it get for you, honestly? And tell me, describe the Airbnb and who's the target. How many bedrooms are?
Well, we finished our basement in
Yeah.
our old house.
But it is a separate entry, right?
It is not a separate entry,
How's
actually.
that work?
So we have a door code on our back door.
Okay, yes.
And it goes directly into our basement.
Okay, good.
So it's kind of separate.
Yes.
But we started Berkshire Hathaway Weekend 2014.
Yeah.
Just because we're like, oh, why not? They have our whole basement. So they have a bedroom, a bathroom, a
Yeah.
huge entertainment area
Yeah.
with a kitchenette.
Yes.
And we don't do it. It's just kind of a fun, extra little.
But it makes
Right.
money. Obviously, it
Right.
generates income when it does. It's your space anyway. So
And I think the location makes it.
on average per month, let's just go on average per month. How many bookings?
I would say we only do about 12 stays to 15, 20
year?
a year.
That's good still.
Just because it is our house. It's our, and we don't always want to give up that space. But we always do Berkshire College World
All
Series.
the conventions, and it brings
things
good
like that.
people. I bet. Do people repeat customer with you? Or do they come back?
We had the same guest for Berkshire 3 years in a row.
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. That's incredible. So, are there many people that Airbnb around here, or do you know of anybody that does that has an Airbnb that rents it out like you do?
A few.
Okay. Do you network with them?
I recently met some new people through a random Airbnb kind of networking function.
Yeah.
But
So let me ask you this: how much is it to rent? Can I ask you? Is that
our
okay?
standard is $99 a night.
That's
It goes up
affordable.
during the big
Of course. Okay. What's the big? So College World Series. What would it be?
130 to 140.
That's affordable, and it's your own little getaway versus a hotel that's antiseptic.
It's like 1,000 square feet.
No way. You're undercharging. You need a marketer like me. I'll take 10% off everything that I would charge over $250. How about that? That's fair.
Yeah.
If it's booked, it's booked. But so the other part is I'm going to tell you some phrases, and then your reaction is going to say good or bad. Okay? So it's just the test of it's got to be immediate. You can't think. Okay? I'm going to say this next word or phrase. Transportation system.
Bad.
Okay, so you almost hesitated. Tell me why it's bad.
I personally would love to live in a city that had like like Chicago or San Francisco or
Streetcar
New York,
system,
streetcars, a train, that I didn't have to get in my car. Because of my business, I often have to.
I get it.
But I would love to be able to get around without always having to get in my car.
So
That's why we live in a neighborhood we can walk.
That's true. But people tell you there's a bus system here. What do you think of the bus system? And I mean, true. We're not here to bash it, but what can I do better for the bus system?
I will admit I've never been on our bus system because I haven't needed to. But my understanding is it's really hard to get from one place to another.
It's not friendly like that. It's not super modernized, and it's not intuitive, and you don't know. And I don't know. Maybe they're making good things. Before Uber, there were taxis, right? I mean, this is a taxi system town, and that's expensive. They're all, no, I don't want to say expensive, but they all cost. If you could wave a magic wand over Omaha with no money, who cares, whatever money was at your disposal, what would you do to Omaha?
Well, since we were just talking about if there could be like a raised line train that would, there's something that would be phenomenal.
I think we're missing that. I mean, because I think our population is going to support it. It doesn't now. This is my opinion. I'm not right. I'm not economically savvy enough to say what would work and what wouldn't work, but I think it would attract a lot more people.
Yeah.
Don't you think? So being a business owner in Nebraska, in just Omaha, for what you do, so niche, where are the days that you're like, I'm just going to go back and get a corporate job? And, I mean, not that that's bad. Did you ever feel like giving up?
Okay, when I had my son.
Okay, yeah.
It was...
You were bringing him a lot of places.
He was the most networked baby in the city.
Yes, he was. I remember that. And I respected you for that because I was like, wow.
I didn't want to sit at home.
Right.
But, before, he was places 3 weeks. He was too young to go to daycare, so he went to B2B to the
yes.
Chamber of
Is he on
Rotary.
LinkedIn? Is he on LinkedIn?
He's not yet.
Might as well
no. He does have his own hashtag, but
what's his hashtag?
Anderson's Awesome Adventures.
Oh my gosh. So make sure you follow that hashtag.
Anderson's Awesome Adventures.
So I'm going to make sure that I include that as well. So I'm going to ask you a couple more questions and we'll wrap it up. What generation would you say you're from? So I'm Generation X.
Generation X, yeah.
You're a Gen Xer too.
Yep.
So in Blackstone, what do you think the average age is? And just your perception. I don't care if you're wrong or right. In your perception, what is the average age here? Give me a 10-year range.
30s to 40s, I
Okay,
guess.
so you say 30s to 40s.
So.
Yep. And not that we disclude anybody, not that anyone would be discluded, but I think it's, it is younger per se and more modern, hip, younger. You know what I mean? It's definitely. I think there's something for everyone, but I do look around and the scooters, right? So that was one of the things I was asking. Scooters, good or bad?
Bad, I think.
Tell me why. That's okay.
I think they're dangerous.
No doubt. I mean, you can get hit walking across the street, though. But I have seen people who invite danger just accelerate the invitations with those things,
Yeah.
So
my husband won't let me try it.
Are you
He
serious?
knows I'm clumsy.
That's so crazy.
He actually brought one home.
What?
Yeah,
you can.
We're still within the
ring.
and just drove it up and down our street with his bike helmet on.
Okay.
He was being safe, but just to try it out without being safe about it.
Oh my gosh, that's so crazy. So someone says to you, Blackstone, it's just like the old market. It's just like Midtown Crossing. Is it?
I think each of them have their own personality, kind of. And I like them all.
Yeah.
It just depends on the moment. And
Sure.
Like if someone asks me, what's your favorite restaurant in Omaha? I'm like, depends on the night.
Yeah, that's true. You can't just have just one.
Depends on what I'm hungry for.
So let's talk about housing here, just from your perspective, right? From a consumer's perspective. Do you like the neighborhoods here? Like the housing, the characteristics of the housing? Would you recommend highly? Are you the kind of person advocating oh my gosh, you should really live in Blackstone? Is that you?
Yes.
Okay, I mean,
I've always tried to get people to move to our neighborhood.
Yeah.
There's not always houses available, but
Sure.
We have a almost 4,000 square foot house built in 1926.
Wow.
It was
Real fireplaces.
real fireplaces.
How many?
Real hardwood floors
Yes.
throughout the whole house.
Yeah.
Just one fireplace. But
4,000 square feet. That's a lot.
that's with the basement.
But still, that's still awesome. I mean, you got houses in West Omaha with 2,400 square feet for ridiculous. I don't want to say ridiculous. It's just outrageous sometimes versus what you can get here. Talk about your neighbors. Is it a close-knit community? Do you network amongst your neighbors? Do you talk with them?
At least once a year, we have a street party for
Okay.
just our block.
Yeah.
We live in Gifford Park,
Oh, yeah.
and it's a very vibrant community. If you're available tonight after this, there's
Yes.
the Gifford Park Neighborhood Market
Oh, my gosh.
every Friday I think it goes from 5 to 8.
What do
I'm
they
not
sell
sure.
there?
They have, your normal farmer's market, vegetables and stuff, but then there's always different arts, crafts type, maybe soaps or
Just-
necklaces or
So local
whatever.
people, just
Local
small
people.
businesses selling
Oh,
things.
Yeah, and sometimes they have an open mic, and they have stuff for the kids, and it's just a great neighborhood. And then there's always stuff in the park. For 6 weeks this summer, when my son went to free soccer camp
Oh,
in
that's
the park,
awesome.
and just learned to play with other kids in a different way than he does.
Sure. How old is your son now?
He's 3.5.
3.5 years old, and he's the most networked 3.5-year-old in Omaha. So I'm going to ask you one final question. There's a lot of people that don't know much about Blackstone. How can they learn? How can they learn about Blackstone?
I think they should just come to Blackstone.
They need to experience it.
Right. Just one thing my husband and I love to do when we travel around the country is
Yes.
just find a neighborhood,
Yes.
and we go from bar, restaurant,
Yeah.
and we have a drink and a nap or something to share.
Yeah.
And then we go on to the next one.
That's a great idea. If
And-
nothing else, I'm going to pick that up from you today.
And we actually haven't done it in Blackstone, but we have done it in Menson.
Sure.
Because we usually do it when we travel, and it's
Yeah.
a little more difficult now that we have a child.
Yeah, of course.
But it's a fun way to try out various restaurants. One night we were in New York City and we had pierogies, sushi,
man.
hot
Yes.
dogs,
Yes.
all kinds of things in the Lower East Side on a night.
That's pretty cool. So
I say try that at Blackstone.
So good place to raise a family. You're raising your family here. I mean,
Yeah.
your son, and it's just, I think what the biggest thing here is people just don't know because this Blackstone area is an emerging neighborhood. It's just emerging.
Yeah.
So one more plug for your business. How do we find your business online?
HopeOrganizing.com is my website, and I can be found on all social media as Hope Organizing.
And on Facebook, you just Hope Organizing. Are you on Instagram?
Instagram.
Yeah. Okay, perfect.
Twitter.
Who's your ideal client? Or where are they coming from? All over? Do businesses use you too? Or just mostly personal?
Mostly personal, but I would like to work with more businesses on their photo collections. I'd say my typical client is a baby boomer, so they're empty nesters, but they have their photos, their kids' photos,
Yes.
grandkids' photos, and probably maybe their parents' photos.
That's awesome.
But
You know that you were nervous in the very beginning and you're not so nervous anymore. You're just out of your shell now. It's kind of awkward, right? This is your first podcast, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, what do I even do? That's awesome. Well, I appreciate you being on. Is there anything you want to ask me? Anything you want to know about? If not, no big deal.
I
Can't even think, right? You're just like, oh my gosh, I'm just so in the moment. Well, I want to say, Lisa, thank you for being on. I will make sure to include all your links below in the comments. We want to say thank you so much, and thank you to our supporters, the B4B Symposium Make an Impact, November 7th at the Omaha Palazzo. 7 incredible speakers, including a keynote by Paul Jarrett, the CEO of Bulu Box. 7 speakers, food trucks, networking, happy hour. Make sure you get tickets ASAP, November 7th. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having me.
All right.